I better turn my mic on. Let's bring this committee meeting to order. Could we have a roll call, Pierre?
Senator Anderson,
Excused.
Senator Barlow,
Present.
Senator Cooper,
Here.
Senator Cole,
Present.
Chairman Pappas.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. We have two bills to consider today, House Bill 32 and House Bill 26. I have to remind everybody, we have a hard stop today about 9:25. We have to, the Senate will be caucusing at 9:30, so we'll be out of here by then. Hopefully, we'll have easy sailing through these bills and not have to worry about that. So anyhow, let's bring up House Bill 32, English proficiency, commercial motor vehicle drivers. Could I, who is anyone out there going to present the bill? Is the department going to present the bill, or? Let's bring the department up. I'll just begin. This was a committee bill that we ran in committee over the interim. It was a good bill. There's a lot of discussion. Basically, the intent of the bill is to make sure that people who can't read road signs don't pose a threat to our motoring public, because we've seen too many bad things happen when that's the case. So I'll let the Highway Patrol weigh in on it. Gentlemen, welcome. Please introduce yourselves and share with us your thoughts.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Carl Germain, Lieutenant Colonel, Highway Patrol.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Casey Ramsey, Wyoming Highway Patrol.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Lieutenant Kyle McKay with the Wyoming Highway Patrol.
Welcome, gentlemen.
Mr. Chairman, I'll just do a brief overview, and the gentleman to my right, they're the resident experts on commercial vehicle enforcement. But essentially, House Bill 32 takes the English language proficiency test that's outlined in the federal statute 49 CFR 39(1.11) and allows any peace officer in Wyoming that would come in contact with a commercial vehicle driver that cannot speak the English language, the ability to administer that test at a state level, and essentially prohibit the driver from being able to drive the commercial vehicle if they cannot pass that test. It doesn't give the peace officer who is not certified to the federal standard the ability to do a level 3, level 2, or level 1 inspection, but it does allow that officer, sheriff, deputy, or any other peace officer in Wyoming to issue a criminal penalty to that driver and essentially say you can't drive in Wyoming until you can pass this test. And with that, Mr. Chairman, we would stand for any questions.
Okay, gentlemen, let's get all the testimony from law enforcement before we open it up to questions.
Mr. Chairman, I don't really have any more to add.
Okay.
The Lieutenant Colonel already added for us.
Okay, thank you. Officer McKay, any thoughts?
Yeah, just to give you some insight to the issue at hand. This became an out of service regulation again from the federal government on June 25th of 2025. And from June 25th to 2025 to January 31st of 2026, the Wyoming Highway Patrol has had 775 violations for this particular regulation within Wyoming. Mm-hmm. Out of that, 337 citations. Those drivers, all 775, were placed out of service. And we've had 19 repeat offenders that have been incarcerated on the violation itself. And that's all violations that are done by level 1, level 2, and level 3 inspectors with the Wyoming Highway Patrol.
Okay, well, thank you. Committee, any questions? Senator Cole.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just how do you handle the situation where you find someone that failed the test and then the replacement driver comes up to take over that said truck and drives away with it? Or I don't know how that policy works. So what do you do when the replacement comes up, or maybe you don't? Just could you explain the situation when they do come to get that said vehicle that was parked, and how it actually would happen? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, Senator, The way that works now, there's several different scenarios within that one question that you're talking about. For example, if the there was a co-driver on scene at the time of the inspection, it's only a violation right now with the feds that if the driver is actually driving the vehicle. So if it's a co-driver in the vehicle and he's not actually operating, he's not within violation. So then we can't wait for him to get into it and do a pretextual stop on him. So that would be against the law. But what we can do is we can advise the guy that this is the federal regulation. This is the Wyoming state law. This is what you have to abide by. If you get caught further on down the road, these are the consequences that you could face. Now, there's another scenario within that situation. A lot of times there's not a co-driver present. So they'll have to get a hold of their dispatch. That dispatch will then send a driver, and that could be hours. And by that time, we're no longer there, or the port of entry is closed at the time. And then that driver just gets in and they just drive off.
Follow up?
Yeah, thank you. So I obviously meant the driver, not a co-driver, not a person sitting there, nearby. So you got a driver. I guess the question would be is, why couldn't you flag that further down the road at another port, to say this person, there was an issue, they were cited, and then they could follow up with that. I'm just concerned about the repeat folks that we don't catch, that they send in another driver who is incapable of understanding English, wouldn't pass the test, and then they would continue on and we wouldn't know about it. So I would look forward to hearing, maybe not in this bill, but I think maybe we should talk about maybe an issue, if you think it's an issue, about this folks driving who can't pass the test for English proficiency on a replacement level, because I am concerned that we're letting these folks drive without anybody actually interviewing the replacement. I realize the constraints, but any thoughts about how to maybe do that better, I think would be appreciated, maybe just in the future. Thank you.
Officer McKay.
Chairman, Senator, when we do an inspection on a vehicle and that driver's listed on it, we do have the ability through a program to pull that up and check for prior inspections done on that vehicle, which will list that driver. That's how we caught those 19 other prior offenders. Also, once the case is adjudicated, it'll go through his driver's history on his driver's license that he was convicted of this. So we could have the ability to find out through his driver's history as well.
Senator Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Lieutenant Colonel, would you address, as I read through this, I don't see anything here that does anything more than codified into Wyoming law, the federal law. Is that basically what we're doing here?
Mr. Chairman, Senator Cooper, so this is a unique bill to Wyoming state statute. The only reference to the federal law would be the English language proficiency test. So that's the test that the officer reads roadside, and it's a standardized test. And the reason why it's vague is because that test could change in the future. There's a couple different parts to that test. The officer goes up, asks basic questions, and if they can't answer the questions that are prescribed in the test, it stops. If the driver is stumbling through those questions, then they move on to road signs, and those are basic road signs like move over, stop, slow traffic ahead, and so that's the part that's referenced to the federal law. Senator Cooper, I'm not sure if that answered your question or not, though.
Follow up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Lieutenant Colonel, I'm just asking, does this allow anything more than what you can do right now? I'm not sure that I'm seeing that, because can't you make these same, I believe we said we had 700 some violations. Can't you make these same arrests right now or not?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Senator Cooper, a trooper that has gone through Part A and Part B training, which gives that a trooper the ability to do a federal commercial vehicle inspection. on the driver or on the vehicle can absolutely enforce 49 CFR. However, sheriff's deputies and police officers in Wyoming don't have the ability to get federally certified. So when they come in contact with a driver who
Okay.
can't speak English, they're powerless to do anything. This statute gives non-certified officers, and that would include troopers too. If we had a trooper that lost certification, wasn't certified, to take legal action outside of the federal inspection program.
So that's probably my, my fault for not actually going through the bill first. It does also provide penalties. And so it puts them, why don't we just look at the bill real quick? So basically it creates 3118-608. If you look at the bottom of page 1, going on to page 2, you notice that we are referencing the federal regulation. So this as used in this section, we're demonstrating, the drivers have to demonstrate proficiency in English language according to that federal law.
Mhm.
Go on into B, it creates a $1,000 penalty, and they're able to take the driver out of service and penalize them. And in C, if they're caught again, then there's an additional $1,000 penalty, and there's some jail time also attached, possible jail time attached to it. And then we go on into the next page, page 3, basically 3118-701 gives Highway Patrol Division and any other enforcement agency, law enforcement agency, the ability to look in Romanet 1. They're charged with the duties of policing, so they're enforcing it. And in Romanet 2, they have the authority to issue the citations. So that's basically what it does. And by the way, the reason why you're seeing a green and gross copy is that the House, all they did, they made a change. They, instead of if you look at the old bill, the act, it was effective July 1. Now it's effective immediately. So that's the only change the House did. So that's the bill, and we can question it anymore. Yeah. Okay, any further questions for the department? Yes,
Mr. Chairman, thank you. So,
Senator Barlow.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. Page 3, line 8. Any other law enforcers designated by the department? Do you anticipate this being a blanket designation for all post-certified, or how do you envision that occurring? Since you specifically have to take an action with this. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, Senator Barlow, this allows any certified law enforcement officer in the state of Wyoming to enforce this statute.
Senator Barlow.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm just going to follow up. Maybe that's the case, but I think you actually have to take some action to do that. That's my question. Is it a quick rulemaking? Is it just something, and how do you anticipate that happening? Thank you. Because if this is effective immediately, you basically have to make a determination the day this bill becomes law. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, Senator Barlow, I don't have an answer for that question. We would have to research and get back to you.
Why don't we do that? We could always make a committee of the whole amendment if we want to by name in statute the different agencies that are able to do this. Because you're right, it requires the department to name those agencies by this statute.
Officer McKay has.
Yeah, Officer McKay.
Chairman, Senator, I think that line in there, excuse me, is for our port of entry officers, is to designate those by the department, which the department would be the Wyoming Highway or the Wyoming Department of Transportation. And then any peace officer or county or municipality is all your sheriffs, your PDs, your state parks. Those would fall under that. So I don't think there would have to be a designation of each department in the state. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for reading.
Okay, any other comments, gentlemen? No? Okay, we'll open it to public comment then. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Anyone in the room like to speak to this?
Everybody come forward.
Yes. Everyone come forward, please. Fill the seats. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Kevin Hawley, Wyoming Trucking Association. Stand in support of this bill. Here to give a little context, but then frankly, just answer any questions. Would like to be brief. It's always scary when you put a microphone in front of me. So going back to last spring, this was an executive order by the Trump administration, came into the summer, and that was implemented. Again, I hate to continue to rehash the same things, but kudos to Wyoming and the gentleman with Wyoming Highway Patrol behind us. This was something that was kind of, the nose was put in the air and kind of snubbed by a lot of the states, not in Wyoming. They came and they took this very seriously. And I just like to point out, as maybe it's a point of bragging, but Wyoming was leading the nation, as small as we are, was leading the nation. We're in the top 3 for the first 6 months on enforcement of this. And I think that's just recognition of the seriousness and the job well done and professionalism by the gentleman sitting behind us. So did want to let you know that was an executive order signed by Trump. And with that executive order, it could be undone in future administrations. It was just a couple weeks ago that it was actually codified into law, and one of the big shutdown threats, and they passed a big a bill, and it was in there as well. So that is now law. You are correct on what this does on stateside Wyoming only. With any law enforcement can do the Wyoming bill only and the $1,000 fine. The follow-up $1,000 fine and threat of jail time. Again, that's only on the English language. They are not a CVSA certified inspector, so they're not going to be crawling around doing anything in the CMV world. It's only for that. So with that, I'd stand for any questions, but from the Trucking Association standpoint, this is something that was a big problem. We are thankful to the aggressiveness and seriousness that this administration is taking on the federal level, and we appreciate the seriousness that this legislative body is taking as well. So thank you, and I stand for any questions.
Any questions? Thank you. I've got a few truckers who are friends, and they all agree we need more truckers on the highways, but not unsafe ones.
Mr. Chairman, we've had that conversation, certified and qualified.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. My name is Alan Thompson, the Executive Director of WASCOP, the Wyoming Association of Sheriffs and Chiefs of Police. And we've been following this bill from committee in the summertime. It's the first opportunity we've had to testify about the content of it. I'd just like to echo the previous testimony that we've heard and thank Highway Patrol for working through the interim to get this into a bill that local law enforcement would have the ability to enforce. As it stands today, we have no concern with being able to enforce this, and we have already started conversations with the Highway Patrol to implement training as soon as possible for the deputies and officers across the state. So when this becomes law, if this becomes law, we should be very shortly thereafter be able to enforce it statewide amongst the various local agencies. And I would be happy to answer any questions if you would have any.
Okay, thank you. Questions, committee? Doesn't look like we have any. Thank you for your testimony. Anyone else in the room? I don't see any. We do have one online. Yes, Kendra Cowley. Would you let her in, please?
Hello, are you able to hear me?
Yes, good morning.
Great. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. So my name is Kendra Cowley, and I'm a resident of Albany County, and I am here today to voice my concerns about House Bill 32. So like everybody in the room, I absolutely support highway safety. Yet House Bill 32, I believe, goes far beyond existing federal standards and creates a system ripe for discrimination and abuse. This bill gives Wyoming law enforcement officers the right to determine on the spot whether or not a driver's English is proficient enough. This vague standard invites bias based on accents, cultural difference, speech clarity, and hearing, or how somebody responds under the stress of a traffic stop. To me, this isn't about safety. This is about giving law enforcement unchecked discretion to target immigrant drivers. Not only will House Bill 32 enable subjective decisions about whose English is proficient enough, it'll facilitate the ongoing racial profiling of drivers in Wyoming. And we know who will be targeted by HB 32 enforcements, just like we know who's being targeted for traffic stops more broadly in the state of Wyoming. People of color, immigrants, and American citizens alike will be not only more likely to lose their livelihood to these policies, but face heightened surveillance and potential jail time. Providing law enforcement with the subjective power to end someone's career on the spot based on their language skills is a precedent that I am personally terrified of setting. If it's not enough that this will hurt our friends, our families, our neighbors, our coworkers, and to me, it should be, it'll also hurt the Wyoming economy. In a large and remote state, we depend on commercial truck drivers to move and deliver goods, from food to farm and ranch materials to recreational vehicles and equipment. Scaring away skilled drivers will hurt businesses, raise shipping costs, and impact Wyoming's competitiveness. Federal regulations already require commercial drivers to demonstrate English proficiency to obtain their CDL. The majority of drivers in and passing through Wyoming have been doing their jobs for years without incident. If this were truly a concern about safety, I think we would consider how the additional stress and anxiety of racial profiling and potentially losing your livelihood during a random truck stop will impact a driver's ability to focus on their job and on the road. To me, HB 32 doesn't improve safety. It creates an enforcement system designed to intimidate and exclude immigrant workers. I am strongly in opposition to this bill. I believe that our state should welcome skilled workers who contribute to our economy, not create new ways to profile and punish them. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Kelly. Any questions? Thank you. We appreciate your testimony. And I believe that's all that we have. So we'll close public comment. Committee, what's your pleasure?
Move the bill.
Second.
It's been moved by Senator Jacobs, seconded by Senator Barlow. Committee, let's work the bill. Any additions, corrections, or change, deletions? I don't see any. So I think we're good to take a vote.
This is a roll call vote on House Bill 32. Senator Anderson,
Excused?
Senator Barlow,
Aye.
Senator Cooper,
Aye.
Senator Kolb,
Aye.
Chairman Pappas.
Aye.
4 ayes, 1 excused.
Thank you. Anybody? Yes, yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to be very clear. This has nothing to do with profiling anybody except for highway safety. People that can't demonstrate this level, which is a federal level, I might add, that's going to be allowed to be enforced locally, is in fact about safety. I vehemently disagree with anyone that says it's anything other than that. And that's the reason why I support it. I support safe roads for the people in our state. I support our troopers and our local law enforcement to be able to carry out their job to make sure our roads are safe. And I think this goes long ways to improving that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for that. And since we're speaking on it, I do want to make a correction to what I believe is a correction to what I heard in the testimony by the lady online. She mentioned that we've been doing this in Wyoming for years without incident. And we've had in committee during the interim, we had plenty of testimony. There's been lots of incidents. Failure to be able to read road signs and emergency, especially our emergency road signs, and they blow right past them because they don't understand the language, has created problems, especially with blowovers and a lot of issues that the Highway Patrol has to go out and deal with. So we need people to be able to read the language and sufficient enough. Okay? So I just want to make that correction because there has been many incidences. Thank you. Okay. We're going to move on to the next bill. Representative Posey, would you come and present to us House Bill 26, Vehicle Registration Fees, Tribal Governments?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senators, good morning.
Make sure your microphone's on.
Yeah, just, you need to get closer. Yeah.
Okay, I'll bring it closer.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I bring to you this morning, Chairman and the committee, House Bill 26. It's very straightforward. Through some discussion that we had with tribal transportation, we realized that the registration fees are not waived for tribal government, just as they are for weeding pests or state vehicles. I'm not too sure why it wasn't caught before. It's basically probably around 100 vehicles, I would think, at the most, that would be exempt from this. And it just, like I said, it's pretty straightforward. They would not pay the registration fees. They'd be exempt from when they license those vehicles. So I stand for any questions, Mr. Chairman.
Committee, Senator Barlow.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, Mr. Chairman, this was actually a short part of a discussion during tribal relations as well, just giving us notice that this was a concern that my good colleague and CI signed on to it because it made sense to me. There was an amendment made in the House that added distinctive plates, which also should have been caught before. So that's that first actually page, or page 2 is actually the amendment that came out of the House. And that just allows them to have that distinctive exempt plate for to go along with this, is the way I understand it. So maybe Representative Posey wants to speak to that amendment, but thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And Mr. Chairman, Senator Barlow, I think the amendment was to have it effective immediately instead of July 1st. And I think that's what you're talking about, Senator Barlow. So that would be the amendment that was discussed on the House side.
Yeah, but it does look like page 2 was added as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, great. Any questions? Senator Cole.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Posey, just kind of inquiry. What type of liability coverage do you have? Like when you have a tribal vehicle that travels on a state road and you crash into something else, how does that work?
Mr. Chairman, Senator Kolb, it's the same, the same as it would be for any other licensed vehicle where we're still under the state system when it comes to licensing. So it's no different. We just pay an additional fee for those registration costs, if that answered your question.
Just to follow up, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
Just to be specific, I'm just talking about liability coverage. Say if scenario where a tribal vehicle hit someone else driving outside of the tribal area, the nation, how would that work? Are you cover the same liability insurance? And I think that's what you meant. That's kind of just a little clarity. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Senator, yes, they would cover the same liability insurance costs that's required by the state.
Okay. Further questions? Okay, thank you. Is there any public comment? Don't see any, and we don't have any. Oh, someone's coming up. Sorry. Welcome.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, I had a little trouble getting up.
I have that problem as well.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Lacey Bruckner, YDOT Compliance and Investigation. And I would just like to speak briefly about this bill, going through the provisions here. The department would have no issue administering this. The amendment that made it effective immediately also is no concern to the department. We can handle that, and I would stand for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lacey. Okay, any other further public comment? Seeing none, I will close public comment. Committee, what's your pleasure? Moved by Senator Barlow, seconded by Senator Cooper. Any discussion?
Just a quick comment.
Senator Cooper.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This was probably just an oversight at some point in the past. This is nothing but common sense and it's exactly what he's done. I don't really see why it hasn't been done in the past. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Any other? Okay, let's take a roll call.
This is a roll call vote on House Bill 26. Senator Anderson,
Excused.
Senator Barlow.
Aye.
Senator Cooper,
Aye.
Senator Kolb,
Aye.
Chairman Pappas.
Aye.
4 ayes, 1 excused.
Okay, so that bill has passed the committee. Senator Barlow, since you're on that bill,
Be glad to.
you can present it on the floor. Either you want to do the other bill? Okay. Senator Kolb, you got it. Okay, I think that brings,
This isn't ours.
what's that?
It was a printing error.
Okay.
That, no, we only have two bills today.
Just checking.
Yeah.
Read my packet.
Nope. Okay, so that brings us to the end of our bill, so we'll adjourn this meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.